it's your old buddy Zoo, and I've been hip deep in a couple of pretty in-depth reviews, and I decided I need a change of pace. Well, who else to the rescue but our old/new buddies at AISLPC. That's how you say it. With a really unique handheld with a really wide screen and kind of a really unique chip that is weirdly really good at playing PSP. Did I say really enough? Who knows? But if you really want to know more about this guy, then stay tuned. So this is the AISLPC RG52 Mini, and right off the bat, I'm not crazy about the name. The RG in front seems like a way to confuse people into thinking this is an Anbernic device, which I don't know if it's intentional or a translation issue, but considering the company's name is AISLPC, I go 50-50. It's not an Anbernic device though, and AISLPC is that same company who makes and sells R36 clones, like the R36T or the R36T Max, which, against all rational thought, I love these very much. It's because of that little bubble lens. The RG52 Mini here comes in 3 color options. A pretty sharp white and orange model, a black model with yellow highlights, and my favorite, the army green here with these yellow highlights on the buttons and the start and select and the home and the back buttons. All 3 of your options are pretty solid, and I really like when companies throw on crazy highlights like this instead of going for an all white or an all black device. Throw some color on there, have some fun with it. This is cool. It's like a handheld I would have made in the late 90s, like an army handheld. It's neat. Looks like a mech almost. I like it. Now the first thing you're going to notice on here is this big old 5.5 inch screen. It's a 16:9 720p screen, which is great for PSP, Game Boy Advance here, and widescreen hacks if you're a crazy person like Stubbs. This thing also has some really, really good ergonomics. So let's just do the device tour. Now, right off the bat, this looks like some sort of fever dream I would have had in the late 90s for a mech/army handheld. It's got a bunch of stuff on it that's unnecessary, like these bezels and all this different artwork. I love it. It's stupid and I love it. On your face, you got your D-pad, you got your 2 switch sticks. They're pretty limited rotation, they're not bad. You have your face buttons here, as you would expect. Your select and your start are on the bottom, and by God, they are clicky. You also have a home button and a back button. Now, the back button obviously takes you back to the menu. The home button, well, we're going to figure out what it does. Up top, you have your shoulder buttons. They're a little bit clicky, not the end of the world. You have your triggers, which they say are Hall effect triggers, which means you can kind of pull them down in certain games that'll call for it and get full analog control. You have your power button, your reset button, your volume up, your volume down. You have an HDMI port on top. You can consoleize this. We'll talk about that later. On the bottom, you have your single SD card slot, headphone jack on the bottom. I like that. And a USB-C power/data port. On the sides, there's nothing much. On the back, my God, you'll notice this giant fan vent here on the back and some fan vents on top. But there's no active cooling on this unit. As near as I can figure out, this same shell is going to be used for a more powerful version that will have a fan, and they just kind of standardized the assembly line. Since this is the RG52 Mini, I'm assuming it'll be the RG52 Max, the RG52 Regular, the RG52 Not Mini, I don't know. But honestly, it's not the worst thing in the world if it means new units will actually ship on time. And these fan holes, I guess they do allow some extra passive cooling just from ambient airflow. Worst case scenario, just blow into them. Cool the unit off yourself. Let's do a quick comparison to the Powkiddy X55. See, it's that same screen, but where this was kind of like a Batarang, pretty smooth but with a flat butt, this sucker is all chunk. Look at those grips. By God, they're amazing. See the RG52 Mini here, a little bit wider. I think that comes down to the more ergonomic grips you have here on the side. Another handheld we're going to compare it to is the Mangmi Air X. And not just because it's a similar size handheld, but also because it's in a similar price bracket. You can see the RG52 Mini here is much bigger. I think, even though the Mangmi Air has nice little butt doots, I gotta tell you, these are full-size, like, adult grips on the side. Don't get your head out of the gutter. I mean, they're good for a regular person's hand. They're not just little subtle doot you can kind of grab onto. These got some heft to them. I can really like one-hand this sucker. Look at that. The RG52 Mini also has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. With a big old battery in here and running Linux EmuELEC, you're looking at maybe 5 hours of runtime, maybe 6, depending on what you're playing. They say 8 hours, and maybe you'll get that playing old NES games, but I think 5, maybe 6 is more accurate, especially if you're messing around with some PSP or N64 or anything more powerful. Also, the standby mode on here has been really impressive in the week or so I've been messing around with this. I've only lost a percentage point or two after chucking it in my bag and then coming back to it a couple hours later. It's pretty good. Speaking of batteries, I got this sample charger from Anker when I was at CES. It's really cool. It's got a 3-way plug. It folds down. You can plug it in like this or plug it in against the wall like that. And it's got a little display on the plug itself, and it's just cool. It's not a sponsored thing. I just got one of these as swag from Anker, and I wanted to show it off. Tiny little guy, 45 watts. Pretty cool. Now this is running EmuELEC 4.7, and it's that same sort of setup we've seen with other devices, like the R36T or the R36S. It's bare bones, and it's probably not attributed fully or correctly enough for the GPL purists out there, but it works well enough for a brand new users. Now I've snagged a couple of these lower end devices and I've given them away to novice level users, and everyone's been able to hop in and start playing games. Now there might be some custom firmware that eventually comes out for this, especially if it becomes a niche hit or something, but stock on here is fine. You got Wi-Fi on here for retro achievements and scraping. You got Bluetooth. You got basic EmuELEC settings. It's all fine. It's all usable. It all works. The RG52 Mini here is using the RK3562 chip, which to my knowledge has only been featured in the Magic X Zoo Mini M so far. Now I really like that device, but I felt the chip was a little bit too powerful for the micro form factor. That's not the case here. This chip is budget enough to be used in devices like this, but powerful enough to tackle a much larger chunk of the N64, Dreamcast, and PSP libraries as opposed to, say, an RK3326, or the H700 in the Anbernic XX line. It's a really good price to performance ratio if you can get it for the $80-ish I've seen online. At $80, you're looking at a pretty decent deal, especially if you're one of those people who loves Linux devices and hates Android. If you're ambivalent or you actually prefer Android, then the Mangmi Air X is just $20 more, and it's really hard to beat. I've actually got a review coming out for this guy pretty soon as well. If you can find this guy for less than $80, it becomes a much better deal. But I really wouldn't spend more than $100 on it, because even if you hate Android, there's much more powerful devices out there. Just throw Emulation Station on here and get over yourself. So what do you get for $80? Well, you get more than you might think. N64 is back on the table, Dreamcast is back on the table, and I tell you what, PSP is definitely on the table. It's weirdly good out of the box. There's a lot of optimizations in the back end of PPS's and most games are running at 2x resolution. And I'm honestly kind of afraid to change the settings because they work really well out of the box outside of the normal games that are hard to emulate. God of War here on 2x runs a little herky-jerky, but if you go down to your game settings and you turn it to 1x resolution, and then 1x resolution is running much closer to 99 or 100%. You okay? Outside of some of the super hard to run games, PSP on here runs really well. What's our settings at here? We're running at 2x resolution. And nary a glitch, even in this tunnel, which is usually where things start to go squirrely. Ah! Steady. Whoa! Still on the bike. How you like that? Right into the van. Crap. Got too cocky. That's on me. You should always be humble. Humbleness is probably the best virtue. Ah!
2 hours later.
No money? Alright. Get absolutely wrecked. Get in. It's fine. Everything's fine. Get out. Now, this isn't going to give you perfect N64 on every game. Some of the harder to run games, like Cruisin' World here, they run a little bit slower than you would want. They're still playable, but the sound's not all the way there, and you're hitting 50 instead of 60. Cruisin' USA is kind of the same thing. Now, if you go in here and you tweak it, you can lower the resolution and get better performance, but right out of the box, whoa! But like I was saying, some of your games, at least right out of the box, are going to be a little herky-jerky. And then some of the games that this comes with, at least mine came with, appear to be PAL games. Because we are locked at a steady 50 FPS. And it doesn't seem like anything's going on now. Whoa! Yeah. Cruisin' USA, right out of the box. Not great. Ugh. Alright, so let's talk about controls. This D-pad, when you first look at it, seems like it's not going to be super comfortable, super precise, but honestly, you can see here, I'm not doing too much wiggle-waggling. It is extremely precise. You cannot rock this and move. It is very, very much a tack driver. If I want to move right, I have to press right. If I want to go left, I got to press left. If I press down, he's not going anywhere. The sticks on here... Alright, Mina, settle down. Shut up. Sticks on here are actually pretty responsive. I mean, they're not the best sticks in the world. It's an $80 device, but they're pretty good. The face buttons on here are a pretty good size. I could have done with them to be a little bigger, but they're responsive. They're pretty good. Your sticks are fine. My main issue is this back and home button up here, because I think this is start. And guess what happens when you press this instead of start? Oops. You go all the way back to the menu, like a dope. I wonder if I can find a way to remap these down here and vice versa. That would honestly make it a lot better. The triggers and the shoulder buttons here are very nice, very good placement. Your volume is in an intelligent spot where you're not going to press it by accident, and it works pretty well. You have two speaker ports down here. Now, I can't tell if there's like a speaker in the middle and it's getting shunted out both ways, but to me, it sounds kind of like stereo sound. It's actually not that bad. It's not super tinny. Let's max it out. My jam. The screen on here, despite these weird bezels, which I honestly don't mind, some people are going to complain. I like the futuristic look. It's almost like a Klingon tricorder, I don't know. But the screen is really good. It's an IPS screen. It is 720p, and for Game Boy Advance games or PSP games, oh, Buster. It's really good. It's really good, especially for $80. Just think about it. 80 bucks. You can throw shaders on here, have yourself a great time. It is a very, very nice screen. The ergonomics on this thing, by God, the grip on here, it's one of the few handhelds I've received where I said I got no notes. The overall size and the shape and just the feel of these grips, and not just the feel of the grips themselves, there's a very nice texture. Can you see that? You picking that up, Gary? There's a very nice texture on here, which you're not going to drop it. And it's chonky. But for me, with a 5.5-inch screen, it's not going to be pocketable. You might try, but it's not going to be pocketable. So you might as well give it nice grips. Give it just, I don't know. I'm a huge fan of Chonk. One of my favorite RK3326 devices, one of my favorite OG devices is this Gameforce Chi here. And I just like that late 90s, just chunky aesthetic. It's like a toy, but also like some sort of controller that you thought an army man would have in the year 2026. Oh, by the way, this also has a built-in HDMI port, and I don't do this a lot. I don't consoleize these a lot, but a lot of people do. A lot of people love to consoleize these lower-end Linux devices, and I did a little bit of testing earlier in the week. I don't want to move my camera around and try to record my janky old monitor, but just trust me, it works pretty well. Just connect a Bluetooth controller on here or plug a controller into the USB-C port, and you're good. Well, Gary, the clock on the wall says it's time for What Did We Learn? And we learned that the RG52 Mini is not an Anbernic device, despite the name. No, sir. It's made by the good folks over at AISLPC, which is always fun to say out loud. AISLPC, or I guess AISLPC, ha ha ha. They have delivered a couple of really solid R36 variants, and they've seemingly done it again with the RG52 Mini here. For $80-ish, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. At least, that's what I think. I know you guys won't be shy about your opinions in the comments. I don't think it's going to set the world on fire, but it's a solid as hell device, and it's something we all would have gone crazy for just a few years ago. If you're looking for a sub 100 PSP Linux option, or even a big old Game Boy Advance machine, you could do a lot worse than the RG52 Mini here. Like I mentioned before though, for $20 to $30 more, you're getting into the Mangmi Air X zone, and this thing is way more powerful than the RK3562 you have here in the RG52 Mini. It's a lot of numbers. All things considered though, I really like the weird color options on this guy and the overall ergonomic, chonky design. I'm also looking forward to see what they throw in here that's going to use that big old fan port. That'll be exciting to see. If you're excited to see more videos from your old buddy Zoo or the rest of the Retro Handhelds crew, then remember to like and subscribe and ring the bell and press the thumbs up button, all that jazz. You know what to do. It's 2026 for God's sake. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.